is CBS News Miami.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us. I'm Naja Sherman, and welcome to CBS News Miami's 4 p.m. Quickcast. Let's take a look at today's top stories, and we begin off the top with two breaking news stories. First, a fatal stabbing in Miami. This is along Biscayne Boulevard and Northeast 29th Street. One person was rushed to the hospital. Another is in custody. No word yet on a motive for the stabbing. And another breaking story, this one out of Davie. An investigation is underway after a police chase. Chopper 4 over the scene along Griffin and Davie Road. Police say the crash took place as the result of a bailout. No major injuries have been reported. Broward Sheriff's officers say that 4 people are in custody. Now to the first 100 days of the Trump presidency. The Trump administration's tariff on Chinese goods went into effect at midnight, and it prompted swift retaliation from China. CBS News Miami's Natalie Brand is at the White House with what comes next.
With the Trump administration's tariffs on China now in effect, China is punching back, saying it will impose tariffs of its own on U.S. imports. The White House says President Trump plans to speak to Chinese President Xi Jinping soon.
The president made it very clear with the 10% tariff on China that he is not going to allow China to continue to source and distribute deadly fentanyl into our country.
Starting next week, China says it will impose a 15% tariff on coal and liquefied natural gas products coming from the U.S., as well as a 10% tariff on crude oil, agricultural machinery, and large engine cars.
This time they have a slightly different strategy of hitting oil markets.
Philip Luck served as the deputy chief economist at the State Department under the Biden administration.
It's going to reduce demand for U.S. goods and is going to have a negative effect on the economy.
The tit for tat with China comes as proposed tariffs on Mexico and Canada are on pause for at least a month while negotiations over border security continue. Canada has promised more choppers, drones, and personnel, as well as a new position for a fentanyl czar. Mexico's president has promised 10,000 National Guard troops to help block the flow of drugs and migrants. But in the border town of Laredo, Texas, business owners who rely on the flow of trade are still worried.
With an extension of just 30 days, that doesn't push anything. The only thing it does is pushes the line. It doesn't erase the uncertainty.
Many say they're stocking up on Mexican goods now in case tariffs happen down the road, causing prices to increase. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
Always alerting, always tracking. This is Next Weather.
And taking a live look outside at downtown Miami, a beautiful shot, but it is a warm and humid day across South Florida. Let's get right to Next Weather meteorologist Shane Hinton. And Shane, this trend sticks around for a bit.
That's right. I feel like I have to be boring people at
you're
this
never
point.
boring.
Now, maybe I have to learn how to like tap dance or something to make the forecast a little bit more exciting for you. But you know what? I mean, it certainly is gorgeous. I had some brunch outside earlier today. I mean, and just fabulous weather for us here in South Florida. Right now, currently, we've got upper 70s to lower 80s area-wide. Many locations peaked in the lower 80s today, and the reason for that is we still have this area of high pressure out toward our east that's really driving our weather pattern locally. It'll continue to influence us not only throughout the evening, but also throughout the rest of the week. Tonight, we could see some additional patchy fog develop further out toward the west. I think it's not really going to be impacting us here in southeast Florida that much. Another mild evening expected for us as we go throughout the rest of the week. We're going to hold on to that warm and mostly dry pattern. I say mostly dry because we can never really rule out a straight 10% shower chance, especially as we get closer to the weekend, as that area of high pressure is going to help to usher in some of that moisture in from the southeast. That'll bring an isolated shower chance. The cold front that you can see up there in the southeast, that's not going to be able to make it down to us, so we're not expecting many changes in regard to our temperatures. That fog potential, as I mentioned, mostly going to stay out toward our west. We could see a little bit of patchy fog for Key West, but as of now, we don't have any dense fog advisories in effect like we had in effect for this morning. As we take a look at what you can expect as you wake up tomorrow morning, temperatures in the mid to upper 60s, maybe even a few isolated spots holding on to the lower 70s, like there in Marathon. As we walk you through the day tomorrow, it's going to be very similar to what we saw today, maybe a degree difference at best. Okay, lower 80s for the afternoon, partly cloudy to mostly sunny skies, and then for any outdoor evening plans tomorrow, you're going to be good to go in the 70s. Area-wide, temperatures still trending above average. That's been the weather pattern that we've been dealing with for the past several several days. Upper 70s to lower 80s for most, maybe a little bit milder in Key West at 76. As we take a look at those rainfall chances, I mentioned that as we make our way into the weekend and maybe even the beginning of next week, we could see an isolated shower chance, only about a 10 to 20% chance at best, though. That's great news for anyone who has any outdoor weekend plans. Not expected to be a washout for you. That 7-day forecast, you can see there's not a lot of changes on the way. I have kind of upped the numbers a little bit based off of the forecast models running on the warmer side. So I've got 81 to 83 degrees. That's the range that we've got throughout the rest of the week and into the weekend. Those shower chances I mentioned very isolated at 10% starting on Saturday and then running through at least the middle of next week. But most of us, if not all, are going to stay on the dry side. And this is where I do my little tap dance to try and make this exciting, Naja. But overall, a fairly quiet weather pattern for us here locally.
It is on. Thank you, Shane. A man is accused of opening fire inside a Miramar Walgreens and killing a customer. A judge denied his bond this afternoon, and he is facing manslaughter charges. CBS News Miami's Peter Dench has the report.
We are learning new details about this case where 27-year-old Anthony Souvenir was shot and killed inside this Walgreens store right here in Miramar. Police say it was all captured on surveillance tape. It stemmed from a misunderstanding while Souvenir was inside the store. A police report said Souvenir and the suspect, 28-year-old Jaime Taylor, had a verbal dispute after Souvenir thought Taylor was staring at his girlfriend. And Taylor reportedly thought that Souvenir was going to shoot him, so he pulled out his weapon and opened fire. We spoke with the victim's father.
Just like that, because confused, he pulled out the gun, just like that. Yeah. That Ocho went to campaign and then he got shot in his ear. That's a game. People got too much gun. They can fight, but don't use a gun because gun gonna kill. Gun is a weapon to kill people. It's not to make people come down. It's to kill people. How come you work with the gun? Two young men, you have a problem. Fight, or you call police. If this guy do something wrong to you, call police for him. You see him. But why you come to the gun in the market? But we have to come together now. If we have a problem, to resolve the problem. Not a gun. Keep shoot each other. That don't make sense.
Taylor is being held without bond and has been charged with second-degree murder. We'll have much more in the story coming up at 5. In Miramar, Peter Dench, CBS News, Miami.
A deadly crash in Miami. CBS News Miami's Morgan Reiner reports.
The driver of the car that hit the motorcycle has been arrested and charged with grand theft, and more charges are pending in the accident itself. And surveillance video shows us exactly what happened. 3:30 Monday morning, Miami-Dade police said they were called to the intersection of Lejeune and Southwest 8th Street.
It is a very dangerous intersection, I will tell you that. You can repeat it again and again.
Dr. Coro lives nearby and is shocked by the scene. This is the scene Miami-Dade police pulled up to. 3 totaled cars, light poles and stop signs mangled. The driver of this silver car, a 29-year-old male, died. The female driver of this white car taken to the hospital in stable condition. But the driver of this white SUV ran away from the scene.
My God, are you kidding me? Like anybody's reaction, it's horrible. Horrible. You know?
Lorena did not know the drivers, but showed up to the scene to lay down flowers.
Because sometimes it's the light is short. I going out for the Walgreens, I buy my flowers in Walmart, so I go in here because it's sensitive. Everybody's human and respect to the light.
Police have released the identity of the victim. In this case, it is the motorcyclist. He has been identified as 34-year-old John Kuntz. We are working to learn more about who he was. For now in Miami, Morgan Reiner, CBS News, Miami.
Within the last hour, President Trump signed an executive order. It is for what he called a very tough directive. It restores his massive pressure campaign on Iran, targeting the country's oil exports. He also met with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to talk about a ceasefire with Hamas. The two leaders will hold a press conference in about an hour. CBS News Miami's Chris Livesay reports from Tel Aviv.
Well, at the top of President Trump and Prime Minister Netanyahu's agenda, hammering out the next phase of this very fragile ceasefire deal. Here in Israel, the families and most of society at large are desperate to see more hostages released, many of them crediting Trump for making this deal possible.
We hope that Trump will help the nation of Israel, that will get the rest of the hostages released.
The world watches, and we believe in your leadership to end the suffering.
Palestinians, too, have been rejoicing over the agreement that's freed prisoners and seen wounded children and soldiers allowed to leave the Strip. Netanyahu met yesterday with the president's Mideast envoy to discuss how this peace can hold and said he would send a delegation to Qatar to continue indirect negotiations with Hamas. Nevertheless, challenges loom with hard-right members of Netanyahu's coalition demanding a return to war. Hamas holds 2 Americans believed to still be alive among the 79 hostages still in captivity. Chris Livesay, CBS News, Tel Aviv.
Miami Beach is cracking down on rowdy spring break crowds. The city used a creative way to send the message. Take a look.
How you guys doing? What's going on?
You're drinking in public. That's not allowed. This speaker, that's not allowed.
The reality TV show trailer might be fake, but the rules are real. The city credits last year's restrictions for creating a safer atmosphere.
Coming up this evening, the city of Miami Beach has released a new video warning spring breakers about what they can expect if they make the trip this year. What people and a business owner have to say about the newly released video.
When we come back, tax season is here, and there are several things you need to know, including billions of dollars in tax credits the IRS says is left on the table. Welcome back to CBS News Miami's 4 p.m. Quickcast. It is that time of year, tax season, but instead of panicking, try preparing. Most people have until April 15th to file their 2024 returns, pay taxes, or request an extension to file. Experts advise getting your documents in a row first. If you're itemizing, you'll also need property tax notifications and mortgage statements. Examples of tax credits include the Earned Income Tax Credit or the Child Tax Credit. There are also credits for higher education. And that is your CBS News Miami Quickcast. I'm Nasha Sherman. Stay tuned for more news right here on CBS News Miami, and have a great day.